All right, getting onto this side of the car. If you saw the last video we posted, we worked on the other side where the wheel bearing was falling apart. This side is not as bad, but the ball joint is wore out. You can hear it rattling around. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing taken apart. Got one bolt here, one bolt back there, and then the ball joint bolt itself. And should be able to get the control arm out. We just bought a whole new unit to put on with the ball joint and everything. And we're also going to take the caliper off and change the pads because we changed them on the other side. So we'll go ahead and get into tearing this thing apart. I got it busted loose, but it wouldn't break free, so we decided to just cut it off with the Sawzall and hammer it off the rest of the way because we couldn't get the saw in there far enough to cut it all the way off. So now we got to get this bolt out. So we're going to put a jack under the motor and try to raise it up, or under the transmission, because that bolt is just about even with the transmission pan. So we'll get a jack under there and see if we can raise it up a little bit. Okay, we got the transmission jacked up with a transmission jack. Just enough, we should be able to sneak that bolt out of there. So now we're going to try to break it loose and get it out. And the other one should be pretty easy. Just use the impact and bolt out. Now we're going to this one. Just got a nut on the top and a bolt on the bottom. We're going to use the impact and a wrench and just buzz that one out, and this control arm should be ready to come out, and we'll replace it with the new one. On the right, next to the new control arm on the left, got a nice new ball joint. It's got a little protective cover. We'll take that off. Some nice tight bushings. This ball joint here, real loose. So go ahead and get the new one put on. Should be pretty easy. Get everything bolted up, and then we'll take the caliper off and change the brake pads. Control arm in. Took entirely too long to get that back bolt in, but we won't talk about that. Ball joints are tight, all the bolts are tight now. We're taking the caliper off to go ahead and replace the pads on this side. So we're just about ready to put this thing back on the ground and see if it shakes and rattles the way it did when we drove it in here. Okay, got the new pads installed. This side wasn't near as bad as the other side, but you know, you like to replace them in pairs. So we're gonna get the wheel thrown on, and then we might take this thing for a test drive and see if it rides any better than it did before. Out here test driving the Aveo on closed roads in Mexico. Not really. Brakes aren't squeaking, so that's nice. Steering wheel's not shaking, so that's an improvement. Nothing's rattling. Means we didn't make it any worse, so that's a good thing. Okay, just for giggles, we're going to do a 0 to 60 run in this Aveo. Bone stock, automatic, lots of warning lights. Whenever you're ready. Oh my goodness.